Sometimes, if you feel really aggressive, you use a weird kind of opening, which is called a gambit. You have sacrificed a pawn, and you have probably gained an advantage of that. But now, as the opening is over, what are you going to do? Since you are down in material, and because your advantage is often about development, you cannot just stay safe and play defensively. You have to stay aggressive, and if you don't want your aggressive moves to be blunders, you will have to think about 4 options: removing your opponent's important treats, attacking your opponent's weaknesses, getting your pieces more active, and making sure your opponent's pieces will stay passive by adding more treats. Let's look at 2 examples to make it easier to understand. In the croon's gambit, you sacrifice a pawn to destroy black's kingside. Let's look at this common position. Here, black wants to go bishop g7 to put pressure on your d-pawn. Moreover, your bishop is sleeping, but your rook is already pointing at black's double and isolated h-pawns. You can get your pieces more active and remove your opponent's treat in a single move. Do you see it? It's obviously e3. And now, you can develop your pieces on the queenside to castle and get your left rook active. Even better, you can put pressure on black's d-pawn by doing so, which is a good enough treat to keep black's pieces passive. And you may even win that pawn. The 4 options are fulfilled, congratulations! Let's look at another example. This time, you are playing the king's gambit, which means you have sacrificed a pawn to obtain the whole center. Playing d4 at some point may be useful, but queen h4 is a too dangerous treat to be ignored. The only move that activates a piece and removes the treat is knight f3. Black is now more likely to play a passive move. It's now time to create a treat on black's biggest weakness and to get your pieces more active. Try to guess the best move. Did you find it? It's indeed d4, and it also forces your opponent's response to protect his f-pawn. Developing your other knight is a great idea. Black is more likely to make that utterly tragic mistake. Move your knight. After that, develop your pieces to castle on the queenside and you have fulfilled the objectives. You now have an actual game plan to face the opening after a gambit. That's great, but in case you don't know any gambit, here is a really old tutorial about the croon's gambit. And if you need another game plan, feel free to check out this tutorial. And don't forget to make brilliant moves.